Yes, I hit play. All right, awesome to have you here. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be talking all about, it's December 2023. There's been a lot of lessons. There's been so much learning, as I'm sure you've had in your own life. I'm going to share with you a few of the biggest ones that I learned this year and what I'm doing going forward. And you know what the biggest one is? Holy crapola, I've been wanting to do a podcast for the last probably 4 years and had a couple of really good false starts where I almost had published. I had like 10 episodes ready to go. And, the good old procrastination, the good old perfectionist, the good old self-sabotage kicks in. And it just got put to the side and got not really forgotten about, but, life happens. And I've had a couple of false starts like that. And really excited to share with you what's on my heart, the podcast, life and a bookshelf. As it suggests, I love reading, and I'm going to be sharing with you my current reads, what I think of it, some really awesome recommendations. And yeah, you could take what you like, but there's also going to be a lot of life musings. So get ready for that, especially, if you are in your 30s, you're a woman or identify as a woman, you might be a mum, you might have a career, or you might work from home, you might be a full-time mum, whatever that is. I'm sure you will find something for you on this podcast. And if you don't, hey, I still love you, and I know you will find another podcast that is just the right fit for you. So yes, I hope this information is helpful for you. But most of all, I love that we can connect in this way, and I love hearing from you as well. So if you want to drop me a message, you can see the show notes below on how to do that. I'm going to be having a newsletter starting up as well, an email newsletter. So look out for that over the next few shows. I'll put all the details in the show notes, but welcome. As you can probably tell, I am very excited. I am very excited that I actually hit play. And you know what's most exciting? Normally I would wait until it's like, yeah, it's January, it's the start of a new year, woohoo, let's go. All these things that I've been wanting to do, and then just flounder and flop. And I don't know. I would love to hear if you can relate. So I thought, what the heck? It's the middle of December. All the Christmas stuff's going on. School's just about finished. And, the to-do lists are starting to get a bit longer. We're going away for Christmas. So, and you know what? This has just been tugging at my heart for so long. I thought, F it, why not start it today? And I want to just take a second just to I just gonna breathe. I've got like goosebumps all over at the moment. This might be TMI. Goosebumps all over at the moment. You can hear in my voice, I'm sure you can hear in my voice, that I'm a little emotional, because this has been such a big lesson that I've learned, and maybe something that I really want to shake off going into 2024 is the old perfectionist, that little devil on the shoulder. I know a lot of people can relate to this, but this is something that I do find tricky to talk about, but I'm getting more aware of when it starts to crop up. And I feel like by sharing that with you, it might just help you to become more aware of it yourself and stop stopping yourself in doing things that you want to do, and get out there and just have that real, I think for me, it's about allowing myself or giving myself permission to have a beginner mindset and just be a beginner at something, things like this podcast, right? Last time I tried to start a podcast was a year and a half ago. It'd be just about a year and a half, I reckon. And, I bought a course. I bought this like online course that told me how to do it. I did all the steps. I got all the software, paid software, did all the things, um, pulled audio out of video because at the time I was doing a lot of live video and stuff in my business, and, pulled all this stuff and I just edited it down to the nitty gritty, like edited it to perfection, all the while not realizing, I could have just published a podcast or 10 because that's about how many I had. And I was editing and editing and editing. I was like, gosh, this is taking so much time. I thought I'd have my podcast out by now. Holy moly. And then I'm like, wow, now I've got all these new subscriptions. It's actually costing quite a lot of money, which, if you do have your own business, you work from home or you're in a family business, you know that they add up pretty quick for those subscriptions, especially if you have an online business. Anywho, I digress. It was taking a long time. And then I was like, this isn't actually really that fun at all. And this is something I wanted to do for years, long time. So this is the old perfectionist coming in. It's like, well, yeah, if I can't do it right, and then what if I have to hire somebody to be my editor? Yeah, I should probably hire somebody because this is taking me way too long. I could be creating other things in my business or just being a mom and doing life and enjoying things with my kids, enjoying things with my hubby. But yeah. So it just went around in circles, and then, I even announced it on social media, which was really funny. Like I made this really exciting GIF of myself and announced it, and it was all really exciting. And then I kind of just disappeared off the face of the earth. So I just pretty much convinced myself that maybe I shouldn't be in an online business anymore. Maybe I'm not cut out for it. And definitely not for a podcast because it took way too much time. And if you're a mum, if anyone, how precious your time is. It just seems to get taken up. If you don't specifically put it towards something or bookmark it for something, it just goes. So I've disappeared off the face of the online business world, essentially. It doesn't mean I haven't been doing anything in business since. I'll tell you more about that in another episode. But yeah, so I just wanted to give you that example of where that old perfectionist tendency has come in with the podcast in the past. And, this time around, I saw I'm a part of a membership, which is really awesome. I'll tell you about that soon as well. And I just watched like a guest masterclass, I guess you call it. And she was just like, yes, you can publish a podcast straight away, and it can be as simple as you bloody well like. And you could just literally publish it and let it be simple and let it be healing for yourself just to talk. Whether that's nobody listening, whether it's just you listening, whether it's your family listening, whatever. Just talk. And I think, this is probably something else we'll talk about in another podcast episode, but just shaking off that fear that you're going to say the wrong thing, that nobody's going to like you. Oh my gosh, there's so much. Anyway, this is getting quite heavy. I digress, and I do that a bit. Some little side tangents. So hopefully they're helpful though. So yes, definitely in 2023, I really want to shake off that perfectionist tendency, and that, that kind of ties into that fear of failing. So I know at the gym not long ago, so I love going to the gym, I love weight training. It's a real passion of mine, and I feel really confident and strong when I do it. I'll probably talk about it in another episode as well. But like things like not trying new machines, or trying to convince myself that it's better to do what I'm doing and I don't need this or that or the other, and and then being like, well, why don't I just try it? So I catch myself when I'm in that, I only do this because I know this is better, versus, well, I could try that and see how it feels, and I can always keep doing other exercises, but why not try this machine and see what I can see what I can do. And it's just, I guess, that just little challenges like that of me being like, oh, I could do that, but I'll look really silly because if I don't really know how to use it, I'm going to look really silly to myself. So, like, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line. You can DM me over on Instagram. I'll put all the things up in the show notes for you guys to check it out. But yeah, Spotcast has this new thing where you can send a voice message, so I'll link that up as well. I think that's really cool. Let me know if you've caught yourself. I'll get the word out eventually. If you've ever caught yourself, really saying to yourself, "Oh, I don't need that," or "I don't really need that," or "Well, I would love to try this, but." Whatever your excuse is, because just thinking on it more and just catching myself has really helped me to do new stuff, which I think, I'm nearly 35. I am a lifelong learner and I love reading. I love personal development in terms of mindset, mind and soul, and I love personal development in terms of health and wellness and growing and learning all the time. And then for me to be like, I'm not going to try that, or I really want to do that, but I was like, what? Just try it. Like almost parenting myself. So that's been really surprising in 2023. I don't know if it's just getting to the 35-year-old hump, letting go of a lot of that, or whether it is, finally some of the hundreds and hundreds of books I've been reading on personal development are starting to pay off. But I wanted to share that with you. I think one of the biggest lessons, that I've learned in 2023 has been around, like in terms of mind, like mental toughness, and just proving to myself, like, yeah, you can do it. You got this. Rather than coming up with all the excuses why I might not be able to do it, I won't have time to do it. So that's been a big one. I did a couple of running, excuse me. I did a couple of running challenges, I guess you could call them. I did raising money for the Smith family, which is a charity here in Australia helping kids living in poverty with their education. And I did a running challenge for the Royal Flying Doctor Service in October, raising money for them. And that was some big learning. Number one, because I didn't really run before this year, 2023. Well, I actually called myself a reluctant runner. And I think that language is quite powerful, not in the best way. And I would run when it was netball season. I play netball. But I would be a reluctant runner. It always felt hard for me. So number one, overcoming that. I ran like 160 Ks in June and October, which is, when I looked at that number, I thought, you're effing just insane, Beck. Like, what on earth? And just surrounded myself with people that were running and people that were new to running, and realizing, this is part of it. Okay. Okay. This is nothing unusual. I'm just going to keep at it. But I think that mental toughness was good. Like, yeah, you can do it. Give it a go. So I overcome a lot there. But I also learned a lot about my body, like in terms of lessons. In 2023, I learned a lot about my body and fueling my body for different activities, whether that was the running, because that was completely different to normal, to be honest. Whether it's for more intense weight training, whether it's for netball day specifically, there's all like these variations, but I learned a lot about my body and how my body responds best, and it might not be exactly what's recommended out there. So that was really cool to learn. Lots of learnings around my relationship with food as well for another episode. And And the other big one, was in terms of our house, our home, our family home, and how that just directly impacts my mental state. Insane. So I learned a lot about decluttering, a lot about organization, and function, flow and function of my home and how that impacts, mental clarity, just the daily running of the house, my kids' energy and their mental state, hubbies. We got a puppy dog this year. Holy shit, now I say it out loud. Excuse the language too. I know a lot of you be mums. I know you could be a mum, or you might have little ones around. So I need to watch that, probably. So I'd love to share more about those specific topics here on the podcast. I've read a lot of books this year that I've really loved. Some have been really sucky. That's just anything, right? I've read a lot of books, and I'd love to share with you some of my favorites. Not so much like in-depth chapter by chapter reviews. I'm not really that intense, but like an overall review of my favorite books. And I do read a lot of non-fiction personal development books around not only growth and mindset, but also health, body, wellness. And I also do love a good fantasy book. So I would love to hear your recommendations too for this year. So look out for those. Like I said, I'll put the socials down in the show notes so we can connect over there. I would love to hear from you. And feel free to share the episode on your stories or whatever with your mates. And really, really looking forward to sharing this time with you. And if you've listened all the way to the end of my first podcast ramble, I love you, and I hope that you are having a nice day, and I hope that you are just breathing at this time of the year any chance that you can get. I know how hectic it is, and I really want to remind you that thing that you're thinking, I'd really like to try that, or in January I'm going to do that you don't have to wait till January. Whatever you're telling yourself, you absolutely can start it. You can give it a go. You can research it. You can, take a baby step towards it in December. It's allowed. It's allowed, and you have permission. You always have permission. And just permission to be a work in progress. Even a beginner. Oh my gosh, that's it. That's 2023, I feel, for me, wrapped up, is I have permission to be a beginner, and I have permission to be a work in progress, that you can just give things a go. And I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye.